All right, so we got two different AIs that are scripted by SD and are also both the two top-rated, top-seeded AIs in this tournament. So Tribal Warrior is SD's oldest AI, known for rushing with skirmishers, and has been one of the strongest AIs for like the last 10 years. Pretty much always ranking in like the top 5 in tournaments, often making it to like a quarterfinal round. So you can never discount Tribal from being able to do a good job in a tournament, and that has been the case so far in this one as well. Odette is a newer AI by SD, scripted, I believe, to imitate Odette, the female player's play style. I think the first few versions would actually try to do like a circular wall with DUC, but most of the time that's not used anymore. And so Odette has a few other different kinds of strategies that they'll go for, but I think Odette also likes the skirmishers as well. So since both of these AIs are scripted by SD, I think this might come down to a little bit around the Civ picks. So we got Vikings for Odette and Malay for Tribal. That Tribal's a pretty aggressive AI, and Malay allow for some quick timings. So if Tribal has a good Malay strategy that can be aggressive and take advantage of those, I think that could give it some tempo against the Vikings, which rely a bit more on economy. Both AIs also have about similar strengths, I think, with like infantry and archers as being a big part of their play style. The Malay are just a bit more aggressive, but the Vikings have more overall strength, at least until you get to late game, where I think Malay would have the advantage. And Malay also have the option to go for bad elephants, which I think the Vikings would not be able to counter very easily since they only get pikemen. So those are the things I think we'll have to watch for this game. We've got a lumber camp and now a mill from Odette. We also have some deer pushing. It looks like this is a deer Arabia, so it should be a pretty classic game. And we got the lumber camp finished from Tribal, along with the mill that was finished earlier. And Tribal is ahead on villagers. I think that's probably due to Odette getting loom, and that's the case. Yeah, one thing I've been, I forgot to do it for round 3, honestly, but the other rounds, what I've been trying to do, like rounds 2 and round 4, is not only to make matches between AIs with similar points, but also to match AIs that have similar performances on Arena versus Arabia. And it just so happens that the Tribal and Odette have gotten the same exact scores on Arabia and Arena in terms of which games they've won and which games they've lost. So I know that SD doesn't want to see his AIs playing against each other in this tournament, but that's just how it turned out. It shows that his AIs are both of pretty equal strength, which means this could be a really entertaining match to watch. That deer was finally killed. Alright, I was about to say that Tribal is lower on resources collected, but I think that's just due to them not dropping off some meat from boar or deer. Tribal is waiting for this boar. Yeah, so Tribal's been focusing on getting the deer pushing first, and then we'll bring in the boar, it looks like. Meanwhile, Odette looks like she's brought in her boars. And is just gathering sheep at this moment. Has brought in all her deer. Got a second lumber camp and feudal age coming in. Meanwhile, Tribal is going to get to feudal age about a minute sooner, and we'll see if Tribal can use that to his advantage. No barracks yet from Tribal though, so probably not. It's still actually waiting for the wood to get a barracks. And needs some of that wood to do double bit axe. So I think Odette might actually have the faster military training. If this turns out into being like a feudal age, like ranged warfare game, Odette might have the advantage so far. So Odette's got the barracks up, and now is up to feudal age. Added in an archer range. I don't see any other feudal age building yet. But you can see here, Malay, they have the chance to go for a quicker timing or just have more villagers. So regardless of what you do, you usually end up 2 villagers ahead in feudal age. So we've got an archer range from Tribal. And Odette will be going for skirmishers, so we might see a skirmisher war here if Tribal goes for the same. Yep, skirmishers for Tribal. Got a second archer range for Tribal, and a second archer range for Odette. Yeah, the second bar wasn't brought in by Tribal. Let's check his exploration. So it might have explored that boar. I think by normal AI scripting rules, I think this boar would be on one that's considered explored. Now it's not. So it's probably just due to Tribal not considering that boar to be explored. If a boar wanders into the fog of war, I don't think the game considers that boar to be explored. It usually has to be an actual unit going into the line of sight, and then that boar will be added to the explored objects list. But don't quote me on that, so I think there might be different AI systems going on. But we've got something else going on here. We've got an attack from Odette here. That's 6 skirmishers and a scout versus 6 or 7 skirmishers with a spearman. Seems like Tribal's getting some better shots here, but killed off the spearman and the scout's diving in. And for upgrades, they have the free infantry armor, but otherwise there's no blacksmith upgrades from either AI yet. So I think that attack there from Odette came to a draw, which I think is to Tribal's advantage. We've got a tower coming up for Odette. Let's see if it gets up in time, because those skirmishers might be able to disrupt it. Alright, these villagers are being persistent, trying to get it up. I think it will go up. So this tower should bring the fight in Odette's favor, but the scout goes down. Yeah, so Odette's definitely winning that battle there. 3 more kills than Tribal. This one random skirmisher's wandering into a pretty bad spot. And they're just walking in circles around this forest. Odette's got both blacksmith upgrades, while Tribal's getting the archer armor right now. Only has fletching. It feels like Tribal's getting a bit more consistent shots off than Odette. But Odette is still winning the battle here. Odette is doing a better job of keeping his units together. We got a tower that Tribal's wanted to construct right here, but I don't know that it'll go up. It's just not in a good spot where the villagers can build it without getting attacked. I find it interesting that Tribal's trying to add in add in archers, even though Odette has a huge number of skirmishers. That seems to be the sort of thing that you would do once you start getting a military advantage, and you can kind of switch to archers for more damage overall. But I feel like right now Tribal is needing to take good engagements and counter the enemy rather than trying to get further ahead. Seems like Odette's skirmishers are a little bit lost right now, not knowing what to attack or where to go. So Tribal's sort of getting some free shots off. And Odette's KD continuing to rise. So Castle Age being researched by both AIs. Tribal will reach Castle Age first. I think partly due to being melee. I didn't actually see when they were clicked up at first. Seems like Tribal did click it a little bit sooner. If Tribal can get a late skirmisher before Odette does. And I think what Tribal should be doing is, rather than taking this engagement, is it should be camping his skirmishers, protecting them, so that when he gets to Castle Age and can get a late skirmisher, he can have a larger mass to go back and attack Tribal with that important tech timing. Alright, so Odette's getting Bodkin. Tribal got Bosa, which is a nice Yaku upgrade, but I feel like I might prefer going for a military upgrade. So we got late skirmisher, but Odette will actually be getting late skirmisher first, as well as crossbow. Looks like Tribal skirmishers are bugging out here, probably due to something with the skirmisher's minimum range. I think sometimes the skirmishers can go idle. So that's really unfortunate. So now with that late skirmisher upgrade, that doesn't benefit any soldiers on the field. It's good old Odette trash talking. Knights and crossbows here from Odette as well as the second TC on the way. Doing all the right things to take advantage of her position. So I think I'm gonna be calling this game pretty soon. I think I'm just kind of waiting for a critical moment. I think once Tribal goes below 40 villagers, I'll call the game. Second TC from Tribal being placed, but I don't know if the villagers will be able to get there to start building it. Okay, that's a slightly better spot for a TC, but not near any resources, unfortunately. It's good to see Tribal building some mining camps in safe spots. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to make a difference in this game. Second armor upgrade for Odette. Let me just make sure that Odette actually sees this TC. Huge number of villagers being killed right here. Alright, I'm gonna call the game here with that final villager kill. So at the steep drop-off where Tribal lost all of his skirmishers, tried to do what he could to defend, but I was able to get ahead with the military engagements around this point. And she was able to just climb a bit further ahead from there. Being able to use those military numbers to her advantage and not waste it. Making sure to stay aggressive with it, so that Tribal couldn't come back with military numbers or boom up. Alright, GG, so let's go on to the second game here. Alright, so for Arena, both AIs random between two different civs, so we'll go back here so we can pick the civs. Odette either goes for Incas or Franks. And we got Incas. And then Tribal is either Cumans or Slavs. I'm curious why that is blue. Maybe just because it's the last civ that was picked. Okay, yeah, I think that's what that is. Alright, so we got Incas versus Cumans. All right, and here we go. So let's see. So we got a chicken arena with actual chickens this time. And if I remember right, Odette's or Essie's AIs are made more for Arabia than Arena. So we'll see how both of these AIs fare on Arena. I think both of them have only had one win on Arena so far this tournament. But looks like Odette has found all of her, looks like goats this time. And then Tribal just found all of his goats. So it should be a pretty smooth start for both of them. Tribal has the bushes in the back, gold off to the side. Both goals are kind of forward, unfortunately. So hopefully Tribal's not forced into playing defensive. And both of the forests are kind of close to the walls, unfortunately. So I think Tribal would ideally play aggressively, which thankfully is one of Tribal's strengths. Meanwhile, Odette has a gold in the back as well as stone. And these forage bushes and the chickens being in front shouldn't be that much of a problem. I'm curious what this scout is trying to do here. Seems like maybe trying to do some sort of like DC task. I'm not exactly sure. Alright, so we got a lumber camp here. Hopefully this goat is not trapped. I don't think it is. Should be able to go this way. Alright, second elephant for Odette. And Tribal already got his. And this lumber camp, unfortunately, is pretty close to the walls. Pretty easy to be attacked by ranged units. Hopefully Tribal can place another lumber camp that's a bit further away, like right here, or back there, for example. Now I'm checking the chat. Looks like I'm watching a Twitch chat on a second screen here. Seems like I might be like disconnecting from the chat. So if people are chatting, hopefully I'm not missing the messages. And take a quick drink here. Stay hydrated. Alright, so as expected, both AIs are pretty even here. And Odette Scout's trying to get in. I wonder if it was sent to, like, scout flank, scout opposite, something like that, and just can't get in. Or if it's being ordered to attack these villagers. Alright, second lumber camp from Odette. It's a bit close to the first one, but not bad. Hopefully Odette will add another lumber camp on this side pretty soon. And Tribal's still in one lumber camp. Interesting. It looks like this might be failing for Odette, canceling training for feudal age research. There we go. Mining camp for Odette. Looks like Tribal might be one villager. Yeah, one villager ahead on feudal age, so she should get up faster. But that also means that Tribal will need to be a bit faster to attack, or else Odette will have a slight advantage in economy. So Tribal's lumber camp is a bit further back. It's on the same forest, but I think this far away it should be fine. Yes, Odette did win the Arabia. So Tribal's up to feudal age first. Didn't quite get the barracks down, but shouldn't be too much of a delay. I got an arch range placed. I'm curious if we'll see the Cuman's 2 TC boom. I was talking about Tribal needing to be aggressive to keep up with Odette's economy, but really Cumans don't need to do that because they can just build a second TC in Feudal Age. And I assume that's Tribal's main reason for going Cumans. If I remember right, the Cuman second TC costs 480 wood. I can't, I haven't really done the Cuman's 2 TC boom myself. Alright, so Tribal is going for Castle Age and doesn't have the second TC, so we might see a bit more of a standard build from Tribal. And Odette is actually one villager quicker to go into Castle Age. And we got a chicken mail from Odette. Alright, second archer range from Tribal. Tribal already got fletching and is getting the +1 armor. Meanwhile, Odette has no upgrades, so I would guess that Odette's going for more of a Castle Age build. So we'll see if that means Eagle Warriors or just a full boom. Monks, maybe. Not seeing a lot of villagers gathering gold, so probably just a boom. So we got a second TC from Odette. Mining camp for stone. Meanwhile, Tribal doesn't really have a lot of wood to add buildings here in Castle Age. Alright, so it says Odette is trying to explore the flank, so we should see this scout trying to get in, but just not finding a path to get in. So it looks like Tribal might be sending his archers out. And here we get the ram. I wonder if this Sage Workshop was supposed to have been built in Feudal Age. But either way, we've got an early aggressive attack coming from Tribal. And Odette currently has nothing to defend against this, but is building his third TC. Unfortunately, it's on a gold mine that already has a mining camp on it. And no other Castle Age buildings from Odette. One of these archers are waiting for the ram to approach. Tribal has found Odette, so... Alright, so that lion is attacking those crossbows, but the crossbows aren't attacking back. Something I did in my AI when I added the ability to use DUC is when I was looking for units nearby to attack, I didn't just do a DUC search, but I also added the ability that I looked at all of the soldiers in the group, and if they had any units that were like attacker ID that was attacking them, then I also added them to the list of units that were found by DUC search. So even if the DUC search fails to find the wild animals, it would still pick up the lion in this case because the lion was attacking the group. Of course, if you do an actual DUC search that works for the wild animals, then you won't have to worry about that. But these rams are slowly making, at least they were making their way through, but it looks like they're kind of bugging out here. Got some conflicting commands. It's like they're trying to move, but can't. That really sucks. I'm not sure what would be causing that. Alright, so we got a monastery from Odette. I wish I could just give a stop command to these rams. Stop them from being stupid. And same thing for these crossbows. There's a lot of damage from those two lions. And Odette's just over here chilling, making a siege workshop, making villagers freely, adding the third lumber camp. Alright, so the rams seem to fix themselves and are finally breaking in. The crossbow's still not wanting to charge in yet, but they should do that soon. Rams going for the mill. And is that as far as they've seen so far? Yes. So maybe once these crossbows find the TC, the rams will go toward the TC. Yeah, we should have a whole bunch of free villager kills here from these crossbows. Odette has nothing to defend against this. I think we should see some villagers attacking these rams. At least mostly yep, there we go. We have villagers attacking them. So I think these rams will get knocked down. Do we have any more coming from Tribal? Doesn't look like it. But these many crossbows inside of Odette's town, that's going to be really hard for Odette to defend from. You basically need to do a castle or a tower or something like that. Or a mangonel. So let's see if this mangonel can do the job. The crossbows seem to walk away for a moment. That scout looks like it was going to go attack the mangonel, but it seems to be fleeing away. Alright, we got some crossbow kills, as well as the TC killing the scout. I wonder if this mangonel might kill the lion. Just by accident. Alright, mangonel's retreating back, making sure to not go too far away, and that monk was killed off. Despite all the villager kills from Tribal, Odette's still over 20 villagers ahead. And we got a second mangonel from Odette that might come onto the field here soon. Looks like the scout's trying to get in and attack the mangonel. We got a mangonel repairer. Alright, got a nice shot on that scout. Maybe the micro against the mangonels is being too effective, or there's some conflicting DC commands going on. Ah, bad shot from the mangonel. Killed the scout, but the mangonel also killed the mangonel at the same time. Oh, we got a castle. That should really help Odette defend here. One crossbow killed off there from the mangonel. These crossbows might kill off some of the castle builders. Where are those mangonels? I'm liking how Tribal has the micro to avoid the mangonels. That's really important. Alright, the castle goes up. Oh, and that... Okay, we got some camels diving in to kill the mangonel. We also have several Eagle Scouts coming out. Got this ram here, which might kill the mangonel. Almost killed it. I like that TC will go up. We got owners are being researched by Odette. So Tribal's going to need to do some damage here pretty soon, or else Odette will be able to use her advantage. Mangonel goes down from Tribal. Now, does Tribal have redemption? I don't even know if humans... So humans don't get redemption, so they can't convert the Mangonel. But the camels did come in and destroy it. But right now, Odette has the castle, so there's not much that Tribal can do until like Tribal gets to Imperial and can make some trebuchets. At the same time, Tribal has enough military that Odette can't really make a counterattack. And Odette seems to be sending in soldiers one by one to try and defend against this attack. Alright, Ram made it in, and is able to start attacking the castle. And once again, crossbows are in Odette's base, with no onagers to help defend. Castle's getting close to half health. And Odette is now way behind on villagers. Huge number of villager kills at this point. We've got Leif Ericson Warrior being researched by Odette. That extra pierce armor should help a little bit, but it's still really hard to kill this big massive crossbows. I think probably in the short term, using the onagers and try to emphasize onager training would be the way to go. Alright, Tribal's on the way to Imperial Age. I don't think Odette has the elite upgrade or the unique upgrade. So given that 2 pierce armor could be really big against the crossbows, but I don't know if Odette will be able to get the resources to get that Imperial unique tech. And let's see, I don't think, so this castle is pretty much down. Yep, there we go. I don't think humans get Arbalest. Yeah, that's correct. So these crossbows, like, they're doing a lot of good work, but they are a dead-end unit in Imperial Age, so I'll be curious to see what Tribal goes for in Imperial Age, if anything. The current strategy is working well so far. There we go. Odette calls it. So Tribal crossed in economy at the very end, but in terms of military, it was Tribal from the start. Odette went for a booming strategy, but just didn't have enough to defend herself against the more aggressive attack from Tribal. We can take a look at the other stats here.